this video, Father Hugh Mackenzie offers an explanation as the emergence of the rational, immortal soul in the human person within the context of the theory of evolution. Please put your comments for further discussion in the box below.
Given the theory of evolution, which has increasing evidence, particularly from the study of the human genome and genes in general, showing that there's genetic patterns between species that are very like the genetic patterns between me and my brother. So just as you look at the genetic pattern between me and my brother and you would say, hey, they are both Mackenzies, they both come from the same parent, you can do analogous things with the genetic patterns between a cranberry and a raspberry and between a dog and a cat. So the evidence is increasing for evolution over time. We know there's a basic unity and harmony in the physical universe, but this also has a direction and a sense of development in the universe, particularly when you look at the human brain. When you look at the brain within living things, it seems to become more sophisticated when you have a more sophisticated behavior pattern of the living thing with regard to its ecological niche, with regards to its environment. So there is within evolution this development of brain in balance with the programming environment. But it's always in balance, as modern science is increasingly showing us. However, the brain develops in evolution faster in its capacity to control the organism than does the wider environment, which has a lesser, slower development and power to control the brain. So we would expect there to come a time where the power of the brain outstrips the power of the environment to control it and to program it. And if this whole thing is under a plan of God, is under a wise order, we would expect there to be something else within this plan to control the brain, to sweep the brain up to the level of being able to directly commune with God, because that's the purpose of the whole thing. So we would expect the human brain to receive a further principle to control it, to give it that extra balance, ecologically, analogously, ecologically, and certainly environmentally. And that seems to be what we see, because we see at some point a species came into the world that buries its dead, and that can start to think beyond limits. And I'm definitely one of those members of that species, because I tend to think towards the absolute. And I tend to contribute to going to the moon, to escaping my environment. I tend to not be satisfied with a purely physical, ecological niche, which animals are. So I think that's evidence that something new has happened, as you would expect under this law of the evolution of the human body, that a new principle has been created into this species, a principle directly in the image of the creator of it all, the loving, knowing and willing creator of it all. We are knowing, knowers and willers, because at an appropriate, harmonious, ordered, almost lawful point within evolution, the brain got too big as a result of a mutation from whatever the previous species was. And at that moment, within the plan of God, he infused a soul. What we've discovered in modern science is a deeper definition of matter energy. And that which is material is something which exists within a specific limited environment and engages with that environment intelligently, constructively across evolution, but according to predefined limited functions. And so if we can show human behaviors that go beyond that intrinsic limitation, then we have evidence for something that is more than matter.